What's up, guys? It's AJ here from A Williams Productions, and we're back with another tutorial. Today we'll be creating this this animation, not necessarily animation. It's a still frame, but you can export it out as an animation. But we'll be playing with X particles, subsurface scattering, and we'll be using Octane renderer. So pretty cool. So this was my client's logo for their title sequence. It was for their intro sequence to their film. So, all right, we'll jump out of this and go ahead and jump straight into Cinema 4D. So I am using Cinema 4D R23. I won't show necessarily how I exported the logo and everything. I think you guys probably can either look at other tutorials or probably know how to do that by now. If you have R25, you can bring Illustrator files directly into Cinema 4D and just extrude them. So it's a lot simpler in that program now. So for this version, I'll be using R23 though. So this is just my simple logo we'll be working with. So all I have is the logo and a cyc in the scene right now. All right, so to begin, we'll go ahead and just grab our S particle 6 system. All right, got that. So we have our emitter, and we're gonna go ahead and just move that up and back. And just hit play, make sure that's working. Yeah, everything seems good. Cool. So automatically we're gonna just jump straight in, right click. We're gonna throw our Octane tag on. And before we do that, we're going to also create a sphere. Make it 2 centimeters, really 1.5 centimeters. Let's put 10 segments, and okay. It really doesn't matter which one you use, so you can use standard as well. All right, drop that into, utilities. And we are going to click back into the Octane tag geometry and drag our spheres. Now, it really didn't do anything different when we dragged our spheres, but you now have more control. So if we now put 0.5, we have more control than if you had just used the geometry or, the actual spheres that are generated here. So they'll help us later when we texture it. So we're also gonna go in here and throw an Cidium XP collider. So throw an XP collider tag on, hit play. So you're automatically getting some spheres interacting. And we are going to go back into our emitter. And there are a couple different ways that I came out with these results. I have a couple different renders. You can actually put the emitter off to the side, or you can have it generate from the actual object itself. So we're gonna do that technique today. So we'll go back into object, and drag your logo in here. Cool. Now we're going to create a texture. Get rid of this. Create a new texture. Uncheck reflectance. Go to color, noise, and you can use any noise you want, but I want to use, let me see, wavy turbulence. Let's increase the scale. All right, give it some more contrast and add some animation. Cool. Now we have that, we should be good. Let's close that. We're going to drag that onto our logo. All right. Now go back to our emitter. We're going to emit from polygon center. Click on that texture and just drag the texture we created from there. Now the spheres are emitting from our texture, which is pretty cool. And the texture is also animating. So you see how the spheres are shifting. So we're already halfway there. We are going to go jump back into our emitter, emissions. And before anything, we're going to go to our modifiers and we're going to add a cover. Our target is our logo, and we're going to just drop our logo in the utilities. If I have another system, I probably wouldn't do that, but it's cool. All right, now we're already starting to get similar results. Let's go ahead and give ourselves more frames. Cool. So our live viewer is good. Let's go ahead and switch. Check our settings. So we're in standard. Let's go ahead and jump into Octane. Let's go 25 frames per second. We're doing this for social, so let's do 1350 by 1080. Lock that ratio, and then you'll hit all frames, but we're not going to save anything yet. What else do we need to do? Hit Command D, 25, and then let's put 200 so the math is easy. All right. All right, really cool. So we're getting really close already. So we have the spheres, they're animating based on this texture and they're trying to cover the object. So we're gonna go ahead and increase the strength to 75. Kill objects without a target. All right, it's looking really good. Let's go ahead and throw a couple more modifiers on. Let's go, of course, XP turbulence. Everybody loves that. And we're gonna go wavy turbulence. And then I'm gonna also throw a XP drag on. All right, looking good, looking good. And that should be good for now. Cool. Density, I'm going to say let's do mercury. Yeah. I think that might be a little too aggressive. Bromide. Yeah, I still want to move just a little bit. And even then I might do heavy water. Yeah, I like that. And for my turbulence, that might be a little too strong. So let's go 2. And curl, come on, thank you. everything is looking good. Everything's set up. Now, all you have to do to get it so we can get more of a similar look is, of course, just to add more particles. And let's go ahead and set up our emitter again. We're gonna jump in here. We're not gonna emit on all frames. We're gonna stop at a certain, so let's do 45 frames. We're gonna stop. Speed, let's do 450. Radius 2. Variation 2. All right. Variation 250. Cool. Now we are good in terms of that. Let's increase particle count. All right, everything's good there. Sorry. Let's go ahead and do 5,000, see what it looks like. And of course, you can slowly keep increasing. You probably need more particles depending on the size of the logo. So I'll probably go about 15. All right, cool. And of course, you can turn off certain things like the drag or the turbulence and play with those too to get more of the results you want if you wanted to stick tighter to the logo, of course. All right, cool. So, in the sakes of time, keeping it short, let's go ahead and color this. So I already have a texture set up for my logo. I'm going to actually recreate it though. So let's go ahead and create a specular material and just put it right onto the logo. All right. Now the logo has taken on the color of that specular material. So specular, Beckman, common, fake shadows. We're gonna set up our SSS material. Now let's go into the node editor. And of course before that, median, scatter. Cool. RGB spectrum. Let's plug that into the absorption. Let's grab one more, plug that into the scattering. All right. And let's go ahead and just pick a color. All right. And to make sure your colors flow together, go ahead and copy that color, paste it into the second RGB spectrum. We're gonna tap on this color wheel. All right. We're gonna select split complementary. You can select whatever you want though, but this is a good way just to make sure that your colors are in line and flow together. So let's increase this. All right. So that is a nice material right there. Now I'm going to go ahead. I use Grayscale Gorilla for their texture pack and HDR. Their HDRI pack. So I love their plus library, saves so much on time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of these textures and use them for the roughness map. So you can grab any image that you want off of the internet and do exactly the same thing. So plug that in, grab a gradient, control it with the gradient. Grab UV transform, size, decide what size I want. Let's scale it up a little bit. So let's put 6 in here. Really want you to be able to see them. And let's crush the blacks a little more. Alright, so that is the material that's on our logo. Again, you can use any one. Keep that quick. So another interesting texture that we're going to create is for the spheres. Alright, so we are going to do a little something different from this. So I texture the spheres and they all have pretty much the same color on them. Pretty much on this variation, we are going to switch and have multiple, like a multicolor sphere thing going on. So, and it will be subsurface scattering. So let me jump right into this texture again. Let's do the same stuff. Increase this roughness. Gonna go ahead and make this one a little bit more complex. So we're gonna grab another texture. I like this one actually. And then we're gonna grab this texture. All right, put that into a mix. Texture 2, texture 1, we're going to use a float. You can also use a gradient to control it. I might actually use a dirt. Let's plug this into the roughness. Let's plug this into the bump. All right. Now that's looking nice. Let's go into our medium scattering. All right, here we're going to do something a little different. So if I remember right, let's grab a gradient ramp. So Octane gradient, plug that into absorption. Grab another one, plug that one into the, which one? Scattering, yeah. Now we're gonna grab an instance. Delete this one. All right, we have this instance plug into both. And let me double check just in case. Yeah, I knew I needed one more. And we need a random seed. All right, we should be good. So this is a pretty good, let's go ahead and file, save that. It's a pretty good texture. Let's go ahead and place this onto our sphere so we can see what's going on. Now you can see the spheres are now being textured based on this gradient map from black to white. So we have everything in between, all the grayscale in between. So if we just change the colors, so let's pick one color, and then for our second, I like to plug it in, go to the color wheel and find complementary color. All right, that's good. And you can add as many colors as you want on these. Same thing here. And we are cool. All right, cool. Now we have variation with our spheres, and they are still have subsurface scattering, so that's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and texture the background, create a diffuse material, just go ahead and put that on the side wall, and I think I still have this, yeah. Oh, I put that in the reference. Haha. Let's make that white again. All right, and to see the effect, let's add some lighting. So it went black. Here you can add any HDR that you want. I'm going to go ahead and use the link plus. Open. Nice part about this, you can scroll through several different HDRIs and see which one best fits your needs. Definitely if you're like trying to comp it into an image, or if you're just trying to get the proper look or art direction for your project. All right, that's looking really good. So we're gonna put a camera in the scene. Look through your camera. Always do something other than 50 unless you're trying to comp into something, of course, that's like you're trying to mimic the eye, but you want it to look really, I mean, that's just the benefits of working in 3D. You can make it look, your work look grand, or you can make it look really compressed with a long lens. So it's just another good way to like push your work. All right, so that's looking good. And I really won't like this with that. I should use it to get an overall undertone, and then I'll actually light it with area lights, because area lights you can control a lot better. Right click, animation, target. Put our logo into the target. Middle mouse click, and we'll just move this around. Let's see. Move that up. Move that back. All right, now let's control the power. Let's put it at 25. It's a little too dark. All right, that's looking good. File, save. All right, of course, I'll render out several more spheres towards the end, but for right now, and I mean, honestly, for me, for what size my logo is, I actually really like this. I still like when it's visible. If you want, you can also turn off your logo to get another effect. I would just drop the speed down completely if you were to do that. So let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, so if you really didn't want any motion, you can just go ahead and drop that speed down. All right, that's looking cool, and let's try to hide it again. All right, so yeah, if that's the effect you're going for, you can do that. It's pretty cool as well. For me, I'm going to leave it on. I like the motion that's going through it. And here, this can be actually really nice. I would just make the spheres a little bigger to close off these gaps. But, all right, so it's 450. And let's turn this back on. Cool, outside. Put this at 5% bounce, 25% friction. Let's go in our emitter, extended data, fluid. Let's put this at 2000. I just want it to act a little bit more like water. Surface tension 1000 if I'm not mistaken. And let's do 100. I could be completely wrong. All right. So let's go ahead, add a couple more lights in this scene to light this properly. And to tell the difference between the lights, I like to change the color of the temperature. That's definitely an easier way to really control the light and art direct the scene. All right. Octane, let's scale this up. You can also go right here if you want the handles, that would be quicker. All right, let's rotate that a little bit. Let's just jump into the front view. That'll probably be easiest. All right, so my target's kind of locking me off from rotating. It's cool though. All right, so let's just move this back so we can't see the shadow. All right, let's jump back into the camera, turn this power down. That looks cool. I'm gonna do the opposite on this one. Let's do cold. It's my main light. This is my fill on the left. All right, everything's looking good. So our XP system is looking good. Let's just go ahead and hit dynamics. Oops. XP fluid flip. All right, so you can get another cool effect you can come out with. I would just on this one lower the particle count again for visibility. So I love how fluid is acting. Don't the curls too strong. All right. So I'm actually going to hide this. I think I liked it a little bit better when both of these were off. Again, this will offer you just some room to play around with. So I have my particles coming onto the logo. All right. Now, if you want to add a animation, you can just go in here, add a cache. Go ahead, figure out where you want to save it. I don't want to save a cache right now. I'm going to just export a still frame for now. Put my drag, everything's good. So now everything's nice and organized. And you can go ahead, again, export that cache. It'll move way more smoothly throughout the timeline. And actually, let me just go ahead and do that. So I'll just XP cache, we'll save it there. We like best 15. I actually, for the most part, like a long lens. Camera's fighting me. Play with this light a little more. All right, now that we're closer, we can really see the details of everything, which I really like. Our lights were pretty good. I would normally probably add a couple more just to give it that, touch. But we're gonna go ahead and jump to our Octane settings, go into path tracing. I'm gonna go ahead and use the preset that I have set up and just explain it. So because I'm running around a still frame, it'll probably be a little higher quality. This is good for now, but I have 1,024 samples. Probably should do closer to, let's just do 2,000. That's definitely overkill, but okay. All right. leave alpha shadows, GI clamp, probably put that at 1. It's just so the highlights, if you have white, you don't want them to be blown out. So that's really good when comping. You can do adaptive sampling, but I have static noise checked. Everything's normal. Go to camera imager, linear, 2.2 gamma. Everything's pretty much standard there. I do all the color correction in post. And then I check on denoiser. Let's go ahead and do the imager. Just give it a little bloom. You can add a little bit of missingness on this material to also get it to, and that'll really help with sell that like glow. Because right now I'm really not even increasing anything. I'm just kind of like brightening the scene. So we'll leave that check for now, but that probably won't even really render out anything because I don't have any really accents or super reflective material. Unless try to make this a little more reflective. Let's do 1.8 and then go to our median, drop our density. I just want it right until the color starts coming. All right. That's cool. Let's go into our settings. We have custom settings pretty much set. Again, if you want to make an animation, all frames. For me, I'm going to do current frame. All right, I'm going to check save. Find a place to save the files. Where am I? So AWP, X particles, logo, tutorial. And create another folder in here. Just call it render. Call this one passes. Render, you have your files. Then let's go open EXR, no alpha, Octane, and let's go ahead and do our passes. So let's jump out of there and go into our passes folder. All right, let's hit EXR Octane and let's check the passes that we want. So I know I want not the diffuse, I want the reflection, direct, indirect, SSS, refraction, shadow, post. Cool. The more layers and passes you check, the longer your render time, so be wary of that. I want the denoise beauty. I want a crypto pass. And if we go to info, I want a Z pass and AO, ambient inclusion. So we're good. If you want, you can export again, motion vectors, different things like that. Z pass. Let's click into that. All right. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and file save that. All right, and just to spice this up for render, I'm going to just throw a VDB mesh or a cloud in here. Cool. All right, let's move this just into frame. right. Excuse me on that. Let's actually increase the size input unit. I think it's at meters now. All right, jump back into medium. Good. More detail. Now you can see that cloud. That's nice. All right, sorry, just trying to art direct the scene. That's nice. All right, so lights are good. Our XP, everything's cashed out. All of our layers that we want are saved. We are good to go. So yeah, if you want to add any more lights, continue art direct, you're good to go. I would just add the effects. So hit Command D, go to View Settings, Effects. Again, this will increase render time, but I think it helps. All right, we're gonna add just a little bit of camera blur. So tap this little button right here with the F. Oh, yeah. And you're gonna clip now and send focus and things behind with this depth of field of 1.2. So file save, everything's good. You can click here to check all your maths. If the maths don't work, then uncheck them. Yeah, so everything seems good. So thanks for watching. Follow me at A Williams Productions. A Williams Productions on Instagram as well. Definitely go to my website. I have a lot of free content, more tutorials, downloadable content, stock footage packages, different things like that. So again, follow me. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I'll have more tutorials on the way.